We are live. Welcome to Wellness Wellbeing Wednesday, everybody. I am so excited to be here. We are here, and I just gave you a sneak peek of who our speaker is today, that she has come on. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. We want to kind of do some checks to make sure that audio is going. So if you are out there in the virtual world, give me a thumbs up if you can hear us, and I would be so grateful just to make sure. But I want to say thank you for tuning in, and I believe we are. There we go. There, it's on. I did a good check on it. So thank you again for joining me as I'm sharing these tips for our series this month on revitalizing yourself with lasting lifestyle changes and a wellness mindset for 2026. And today we are going to be speaking on our wellness tips about biohacking and longevity. We are going to talk about red light, and I'm so excited about this. I'm super honored to have our special guest speaker that she said yes. She agreed. I had the joy of meeting her with some amazing people at the Longevity Forum here in El Salvador. And her name is Sarah Turner. She is the CEO and co-founder of CeraThrive, and she is also with the Rebel Scientist podcast. We'll be tuning in a little bit more. But for those of you that don't know me, my name is Michelle Maynard MacArthur, and I am your hospitality, health, and wellness strategist that is here to help guide you through a positive process for change. And that is with a lean, holistic, healing approach from the inside out. That lean stands for your lifestyle, your exercise, your attitude, and your nutrition. The fun part is taking and showing you to the top luxury wellness destinations all over the world. And if you saw my travel tip yesterday, you saw about the biohacking part of there's so many different places around the world, which is where I met Sarah. These tips, this live is being brought to you by MacArthur Accommodations, where we are a hospitality, health and wellness coaching and consulting advisement company that specializes in your overall optimal health and wellness worldwide, with the innovations to reflect, recharge, and renew yourself one step at a time. I am a master certified international health and wellness coach that does complement my certification in traditional Chinese medicine for over 3 decades now. But my focus is on medical tourism, and that's why I'm ecstatic to share what Sarah has to bring about this cutting edge medical devices that targets your mitochondria and addresses brain related issues, exploring the gut brain connection. So if you all can just give a big welcome as I bring Sarah on. Sarah, thank you. Thank you for being here. What a joy and honor. I've got you unmuted, but what I'm going to tell everyone is thank you for being on, Sarah. And you muted. Go one more time.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I want to tell you all about Sarah. Sarah is an accomplished professional with an impressive educational background. I mean, she's kind of brainy, y'all. She holds a postgraduate degree in clinical neuroscience from Roehampton University, London, and has earned BSc degrees. Sarah, tell me when, if I do anything, I'll just unmute you while I am telling. So if I mispronounce something, forgiveness. But this degrees in psychological sciences and nutritional medicine from Westminster University and Thames Valley University. Recently, she actually completed her diploma in PBM. That is photobiomodulation. For those dyslexic like me out there, from Montpellier University, where she will participate in the neurology module for the upcoming academic year. She is the CEO and the co-founder for the neurotech company CeraThrive, and she's the co-host for Rebel Scientist podcast. But her successful career has been spanning over a decade. Today, it is, I believe, somewhere around 6 or 7 in the morning in India. Okay. So she's got an amazing career and she stays busy, but she has served as a research scientist in the pharmaceutical industry. During this time, she specialized in planning and conducting experiments that delved into the effects of electrostatics on physiology, contributing valuable insights to the field. Her interest is in the cutting edge health practices and the technology, which led her to California. She immersed herself in the biohacker movement. And here is where she had the opportunity to interview some of the most influential thought leaders, visionaries, and experts in that biohacking space. But she also was fostering a deep understanding of the field. Now, she is a fervent researcher. Her focus is the photobiomodulation, which is a fascinating approach that actually utilizes specific light wavelengths and pulse frequencies to facilitate the healing and promote an optimal within the body. Her areas of expertise really lie particularly in addressing brain-related issues, y'all, and exploring the brain-gut connection. So I want to just say we're going to dive in while we talk to her. She's got just accolades and accolades, but her main engagement on the podcast, Rebel Scientist, is she talks about, and she's busy, y'all. So you can go and you can catch her replays. But for now, which her replays are, and she comes in maybe once a month, definitely, I would hope that she comes once a quarter to give you guys this information, which is a diverse array of the cutting edge health experts with a special emphasis on wellness, longevity, and health optimization. And so without further ado, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for having me on. It really is such a pleasure to talk to you again.
Thank you. Well, and for all of you guys on, I do want to give you a disclaimer that this is all for educational purposes only. Mm-hmm. We are not here to treat, diagnose, or prescribe. If you are in need of professional help, please seek professional medical help immediately. We always got to do that disclaimer. Mm-hmm. And you can definitely subscribe to Immunity for Life, that you're going to find out a lot more. But I've got some hashtags and some things I'm going to pop up here with Sarah here for just a minute. But the last thing I wanted to mention is, if you haven't, after you'll see that she's something of a brain health fanatic. So to just dive in, Sarah, what exactly is red light therapy, and how does it work in the body?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because we talk about these terms, but we need to define them a little bit. So at the beginning, you said this really long word, photobiomodulation, which is really just the long fancy word for light therapy. Photo as in light, bio as in biology, and modulate to change something. So we're really just we're looking to somehow change biology with light. And specifically, we use red light, which is actually a this wavelength, because this is a healing wavelength. It's the wavelength that it's sunrise, you see those red orange colours at sunrise, red light at those times of day. What we're doing with is really we're just taking sunrise and sunset links to the body in the way that the body can. Red light therapy, in a way, it's just giving the body the healing rays that we get at sunrise and sunset, and doing that will have these amazing effects in the body. Actually, we are very, very light.
Okay, we lost her for just a minute. I'm gonna have her come back on. It was kind of going out. She's in India, y'all. So we're gonna have her come back here in just a minute. I'm gonna let her know that it did kind of lose connection, which this is the fun part too. Okay, let me just let her know. Here we go. I think she's coming back in. There we go. We lost you, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's do some live. So let's go back through it. Let's talk a little bit about that, a little bit more about that red light therapy, because you were going in and out. So we've got a good connection now.
Okay, sorry. Yes, it could be. As you said, I'm visiting India at the moment, so maybe it's that slightly bad. I was talking about sunrise and sunset, which is where you get a predominance of these red wavelengths. We get these lovely red sunrises and sunsets. And that's because that's when our body is designed to heal and repair. And then when we're ready to repair in the evening, we get ready for the day, we repair in the evening. So what we do with red light therapy devices is really we're just giving the body that healing rays of sunrise and sunset, but in a way that the body can understand and in a way that we can kind of control it a little bit.
Love it. Love it. Well, Sarah, tell me a little bit, tell the listeners what makes the CeraThrive approach to the photobiomodulation. Am I pronouncing it right?
It's perfect.
Well, what makes the CeraThrive approach to the photobiomodulation different from other devices on the market?
Yes, so we've spoken about how we're using these healing wavelengths of red light. And as you said in my lovely, kind introduction, I am very much all about the brain. And we know that a lot of people now are suffering from stress and brain fog and all of those things. But we need a holistic approach because you can't really have a good brain without having a good gut. The two go together. It's so intrinsically linked. There's so much research now. So one of the things that's different about the red light therapy that we offer is that we have 2 target sites, because in order to target the brain and brain fog, irritability, resilience, we also have a body panel. So we're healing the gut at the same time as we're treating the brain. And a lot of people also have gut issues. You know, IBS is now 10% of the global population. And if you think about the amount of people, that's staggering. You know, everybody is, you know, every third person that you ask is to have some kind of gut issue.
Right.
So what we do with CeraThrive is that we target both of those together. We use the red light to heal the gut, and at the same time, we target the brain. So a lot of people who have things like gut issues leading to brain fog, they find that they can use these devices in order to get kind of a holistic treatment. And I think that's a good word to use here, holistic. We need to see the body as a system. We're kind of moving away from just treating the body like a machine as our current medical paradigm. So what we do at CeraThrive that's a little bit different is we have a very holistic red light therapy where we target the gut and the brain together. So that's why, you know, when the booth we had in El Salvador, you will see that 2 devices, we goes directly over the lower abdomen to target the gut, and one that goes on the head like a headband. You know, we really just need to get a little bit of light to this prefrontal cortex to help the brain. What we're doing is we're supporting the mitochondria, which is what makes energy. When you give energy to the body can kind of do its own healing. So what we're doing is we're activating innate healing. We're not really saying we're directly having an effect. We're giving.
Okay, so we lost her again, but she's going to really be talking about when she comes back on. You guys, if you saw the post, I actually put a picture of the machine on here of what she's talking about. And the machine, it comes on. We got one of them that it comes onto the forehead, and then you also put it onto the belly. And when you're putting it on there, it's that red light that when you talk about her being a scientist, actually, that comes on, and it goes in and it does the belly and the brain into that red light. that was something else that she was talking about in the morning and in the evening, how it comes back and forth, that it is. This is something that is so interesting for me when I'm looking at, and I was talking, we actually even got the machine. And Sarah has been so generous, because what she said is, if you go to this link right here, you'll be able to read all about the machine. She's put a special discount for all you viewers on here, that you can, as far as to get the actual machine, but read about it, study a lot more about it. And I'm going to see if she, and we'll see here how she's doing. And because she's in India, she's going to be leaving back in a few weeks as well, that we will have her back on. But because what I want her to also talk about is the red light support with mental clarity. She was just talking about the photo biomodulation in here. And the one thing that's really neat is where I want to kind of just see if I can, if we get her on here. Here we go. So I know she's trying to get back on. She said that she's trying to get back on. So what I want to show you guys on that website, she's trying to get back on. So I'm going to tell her to shut down and restart. And that'll be just a few minutes, which is totally okay. This is the one thing that I really love about how this is just some raw. I mean, we've all had lots of different things that with the technology. But what I love that this is streaming live on my YouTube. So if you have not, please hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be putting in the link as well from onto the comments, so that you can take advantage of the website while we're waiting for her to come back on. And I'm going to post that here into the comments, so you can go to the website. And we will definitely be having her back on, but she is going to, I asked her to shut down her computer and bring it back. Now, the one other thing that I want to talk about is when you put it on for probably about 25 minutes. And I think she said it was like 2 times a day. And when we did it, it had different things. If it was either focus, it had clarity, it had the gut that went through, it had energy, it had different ones that you could look at and then simulate that if that was what came through that was good for you. So this part right here, I had the book right there that I may just see if I can read some of the stuff while we're bringing it, because I want you guys to be able to see some of that part right there. But it just kind of goes through, and it's a 10 to 30 minute session. It's got the pulsing modes, but the big part is that it is a novel neurotechnology innovation, and that it does target, like I mentioned to you, the brain-butt connection. And that's with the red and the near infrared. So we've got her back. And I was telling them, and let me bring you back, Sarah. I was telling them, and if it's not, if India doesn't like the internet, we're going to get you back as far as when we have it anyway. I would hope that you can. But we were talking about the photo Mido bio, help me out here.
Photobiomodulation.
Photobiomodulation. Yep. Thank you. So you were telling us of what makes. Tell me.
I was going to say it's such a mouthful, and it kind of maybe puts a barrier around. Maybe we're just talking about how it modulates your biology. It's That's what we're talking about. And you almost said mitochondria, which was, that's also a good word where people are not quite sure. But these are just little organelles that are inside our cells that give us energy. So the reason why that's important is because you can stimulate those little organelles and create more energy in the body. That's the most interesting and important thing about how light works in the body. You actually stimulate the body's own mechanism for making energy.
I love it. Can the red light therapy support the mental clarity or emotional well-being, or is it strictly physical?
Yeah, well, that's another good question. How does our physical being affect our psychology? And
We lost her again. It might be in the morning, or I'm going to give it just a few minutes. I put the website on here for all of you guys to go through so that you can learn a little bit, because in this link right here, it's going to give you a lot of education. And what I might do as well while she is coming back.
okay, I've switched to a different internet. I'm now tethered to a phone. Let's see. This internet's
Yay!
been great. It's been great the whole time I've been in India. Okay, let's go once more, Michelle. Ask me that question again, and then we'll hopefully this will stay.
Well, as far as we were talking about the photo biomodulation, how it's the CeraThrive is different from the other devices on the market, which you can probably touch on that. But then we were talking about the mitochondria, which can red light therapy support mental clarity or emotional well-being, or is it strictly physical?
All right, let's quickly go from that and hope we get the internet, because I want to tell you this because it is very important how our physicality relates to our emotional health. Now, we all know, if you have pain in your stomach or if you have bloating, how irritable it makes you feel. There's this very strong connection between your mood, your ability to kind of deal with relatives, your ability to kind of focus at work. If you have any kind of physical pain or brain fog, bloating, all of those things. So I think this is the most important thing for people to understand, just how much your physical body has an effect on your emotionality. Things like sleep, if you just miss one night's sleep, how ratty and irritable you can be the next day. So we really do need to support the physical body in order to have that resilience in our emotional life. So they're intrinsically linked. You can't really separate out what's going on with your physical body and your emotionality, and even consciousness. That's something we also talk about. Even how you're experiencing reality, and maybe even going towards your spirituality. You do need to have all of these things together. You need to have your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. And I really think that light in particular is tapping into all of those things. So to me, it's the perfect holistic therapy. Obviously, the baseline is to have a good physical body. So what you really need as a baseline is to have enough energy so that your physical body can work properly. From that stems all of those other things that you've spoken about. So yeah, certainly having mental clarity and focus is one of the things that we talk about a lot at CeraThrive.
I love it. Well, and it's so important right now. I mean, obviously, when you talk about people's mental health and how it affects just your physical state as well. I mean, for me, having a neurological double autoimmune, one of the muscular dystrophies within that it's so key, because you never realize how much stress can really affect and the brain. Yeah. And being in one of the reasons why that's not why I came into El Salvador, it was for totally other different reasons, but and in different other parts of the world too. But that blue, or is it the red light? It's the blue light. There's different ones. I'm going to have you talk about that. But what I'd like to know before you do mention that, because where it's the red light and the blue light, can you tell us how often should someone use red light therapy to see the results?
Yeah, well, really, it's about consistency. As with a lot of these devices, you really have to use them on a consistent basis. To me, that's more important than, being very prescriptive about the number of times per week. Obviously, the more you use it, the quicker you're going to see those effects. But it is about consistency. So if you're going to do it once a week, do it every week. Twice a week's even better, but you do need to do it on a weekly basis. So I tend to do it 5 times a week. For me, that ensures that I'm kind of maintaining my body is responding to the light. Some people, maybe if you're going to a clinic to use the device, you can't get there every day. But definitely once, twice, 3, 4 times a week is optimal. I tend to do it 5 times because that's why I've developed these home devices. So then you can have the ability to make sure that you're being very consistent with them.
Good, good. Well, now, is there a difference between blue light and red light?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So when we talk about the colors of light, what we're really talking about is wavelength, because our bodies interpret different wavelengths of light as different colors. So red light is comparatively longer wave red light. And then near infrared is even longer wave. So these longer wavelengths of light can penetrate into the body. Red light is skin deep, and then near infrared can go straight through the skull and onto the brain. So red light therapy is very specifically the healing light therapy. Now, blue light is very short wave in comparison to the red. It's down the other end of the spectrum. So blue light, it won't penetrate into the body. It is skin deep. So sometimes people use blue light therapy because it's highly energetic, it's short wave, it can actually help with things like bacterial infections on the skin. But we also need blue light in the middle of the day. That's why we see the lovely blue sky, to help us to get dopamine, to activate us, to get ready for the day. And that's why some people talk about blue light toxicity, because all of our screens are giving off blue light. If we see those blue light screens at nighttime, for example, we're telling our body it's the middle of the day, and our body starts to do middle of the day things like forage for food. Of course, we don't live in a time where we're foraging for our own food. That usually means going to the fridge and finding something to eat. So this is one of the reasons why people think there's a rise in obesity, is because we're being exposed to the wrong colors of light at the wrong time. If you're exposed to blue light, which you're meant to be exposed to in the middle of the day, it's good in the middle of the day. It's not so good at night, because then our bodies think it's the middle of the day and they start doing things which are out of sync with our natural biology. So all the different colored wavelengths all have a good positive effect on the body, but only if you see them at the right time of day. So like blue light, for example, from screens and from computers, you don't really want to be looking at that constantly. This is one of the things in the modern age we're in. We're constantly bombarded with these wavelengths of light that don't always match our biology.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. What I learned here while I was here is like you put the red color on your screen and on your phone, and boy, that took some adapting to and to learning. But because, having visual issues from taking Plaquenil for so many years, and the neurological, now it's like so much better. And waking up at before sunrise, when the light is just coming in.
That's
and
right.
How that helps, but also with the machine. But what I'd love to know here is, what is the connection between the gut and the brain? If you can just kind of elaborate. You were talking a little bit about that, but if you can just dive in a little bit more on that.
Yeah, sure. So we are a holistic system. Our bodies, all the organs of our bodies are interconnected. The gut and brain have a special connection. And actually, this is even from embryology. The gut actually develops first. We sometimes call the gut the second brain. I think maybe we should call it the first brain. The gut has a lot of neural tissue, which is brain tissue, but same tissue as you get in your brain. It makes neurotransmitters, which are the chemical messages we have in our brain. And the gut and the brain are connected via the vagus nerve, which is a nerve that directly goes from the brain down to the gut. And they're constantly talking. And it's a biodirectional conversation. Your brain is is telling things to your gut. Like if you're stressed, your gut starts to churn. Like if you're going to do a speech on stage, as the anticipation for that, you feel it in the gut. And the other way around, if your gut is unhappy, it's sending messages to the brain, and it's kind of, they're giving each other instructions all the time. Actually, the gut sends more messages to the brain than the other way around, which is very interesting and kind of indicates the primacy of the gut as an environmental sensor. So the gut and the brain are connected. Actually, there's a lot of evidence to show if people have gut issues, sooner or later down the line, they have brain issues, because if we have gut issues and we have the integrity of our gut is compromised, some people call that leaky gut. The tight junctions of the gut maybe become a little bit loose. Metabolites from food and bacteria can leak into the bloodstream and give us inflammation. Sooner or later, that inflammation will get to the brain. So the gut and the brain are very connected. They do talk to each other. You really need to be thinking about healing the gut in order to get to the brain. And I'm sure you'll attest, lots of people who've had any kind of neurological condition, there is also a gut issue there. And sometimes people feel the gut issue first. And a lot of times we're now thinking that, especially for illnesses like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, it seems to start in the gut with leaky gut, and then you get these compromises in the brain. So it's very important to think about the gut-brain connection. It's a very real physical connection via the vagus nerve, but also via hormone system, also via the endocannabinoid systems. There's lots of ways that the gut and the brain are in constant communication. Oh, you're muted now, Michelle.
Yeah, definitely, like even with my mom with dementia now, but the neurological part of, the hereditary part and autoimmune, there is. And like for me, I never even realized, oh, there's nothing, but my story is I got sick at a young age and it went. But it's very important as far as what you eat, but how you keep that together. And that's what I love so much about when we were at the forum and you had the machine and you're like, hey, put it out. And, the biohacking and the devices and everything, while I know I'm more into, being out in the ocean and stuff. And there was so much brilliance in that space that day that it was like, oh yeah, it's like a big thing, because so many people, they don't have the luxury to walk down to the to the sand that has that magnetic energy that's healing, or wake up in the sunrise and go to bed at the sunset. While they talk about, and you can kind of expand on that, of why it is for the body and how that regulates into the gut. But it's not just about what you're eating. Obviously, it's so important you stay away from fried, spicy, processed foods, all of those things that Michelle always talks about. But there's so much more to that. I'd love for you to kind of maybe talk a little bit about that if you are able.
Yeah, for sure. And this is sometimes this is an interesting message for people, that your light environment may be just as important as your diet. Because I think people tend to think about their health and they think about, okay, I need to go on a diet, I need to eat more healthily. But actually, the same as you can have junk food, you can also have junk light. And this is an interesting concept. How much good light, nutritious light are you getting? And when we talk about good, nutritious food, I think we all know what we're talking about. Lots of unprocessed food, lots of vegetables, lots of things that are going to nourish our body. Well, it's the same with light. And nutritious light is this light that we were speaking about, sunrise. Are you actually getting out sunrise? Are you actually exposing your gut and your body as much as you can to these healing wavelengths of light? In the middle of the day, are you getting a little bit of light in the middle of the day? Are you looking at the sunset? These are all places where you're getting that good, nutritious light, if you like. And then there's junk light. There's junk light like we spoke about, like the technologies, the phones. And of course, we can allow ourselves a little bit of junk food. We can allow ourselves a little bit of junk light. But you don't want to be living on junk light. You don't want to be getting up, looking at your phone, going to work, staring at a computer, coming home, looking at your telly, looking at your phone, going to bed, because there's nowhere in that picture for the healing wavelengths of light that you need. So these red light therapy devices, they are a good substitute for getting out, but they're not a replacement. You also do want to be outside, but then when you can't be, or when you need that extra boost, you want to start use red light, because it's a way to get that nourishing light into your body. So think of it the same way as, you know, like having a healthy salad or having a good vegetable stir fry. You give yourself, you know, this healing, nourishing light. And if you can do it, like, you know, once a day, 3 or 4 times a week, that's the way that you nourish your body, with light as well as food. It has to be the whole thing. You know, this is what we're humans, and this is how we're wired. We're wired to be outside. We're wired to be in this kind of healing light.
I don't know if it can see as far as, yes. And the other part, but
Yes.
This is the head part that comes in. This is the head part. And y'all can see the different pictures. I want to talk a little bit, or have Sarah talk to more people. I don't know. Do you have your machine with you too?
I can put it on, because otherwise the blurring may take over. But look, I kind of look at this, even makes me feel powerful. It's kind of like a superhero style. But you can see, very, very simple, very easy. So this is now giving me that light that we spoke about. You can see the red. There's also near infrared. So these devices are very, very simple and non-invasive. You know, this is the body panel. You know, so I'm just going to put this, while I'm speaking to you, I'm just going to tuck this into the top of my trousers. So then I'm also getting that light. 10 minutes is really all you need from these devices a day, you know, and maybe, like we said, between 1 to 5 times a week. So really, we're not talking about anything that's difficult to do. You can see that this device is very flush to my head. Some people have the panels, which are great, but the panel light won't get onto your brain. In order to get the light onto your brain, you do need to have something flush to the head and something contoured, because light goes in a straight line. So you do need to have the light kind of angled in the right way. But this is all you need, just a simple device like this. And we're doing red, near infrared. We can also pulse the light, which is another interesting thing, because the brain is oscillating at certain frequencies. We can mirror that with the light. And then, like I say, very, very simple, very, very simple technology that can have a profound effect, actually, especially if you are suffering from these kind of digestive issues and brain fog that a lot of people have.
And the neat part is, I love, because so many executives, especially that are online and going, yeah, right, Michelle, I'm going to go to that beach right there. That's maybe once, you know, a year or something, or I'll go to the mountains or something. But this is something, it's very small. It's just in a little packet that it fits into your suitcase, but it is that. And the biohackers are like, they have, I mean, it's either on the hand or it's on, but this right here, the way you've designed it, and you say you put it right there on your belly. But the real interesting part was when I opened up the red book. It was like, oh, there's choices of which ones to do. And you talked about the pulsating, but then also that day when you were putting it, it's like you can put music in. And so there's something about that music therapy that goes into the pulsing part. Talk a little bit about that, because there's so much. And before you mentioned that, y'all can go to the link below. There's so much education right there that it will. There's a 5% discount that Sarah's been gracious about. Just type in Mac Wellness 5, that you'll get a 5% discount on this. But yeah, talk more, because you're showing the red and you're letting them see. These are some major wellness, not just tips, but education for people that are like, what are you talking about? It's like, you know, it's so that they understand that it is so unhealthy, not just about what we eat, but also the light and everything. So I'm going to just turn it over to you again.
Yeah, sure. Yes, that's the thing. We tend to think about like I say, we tend to think about our sleep and our diets, and we don't pay so much attention to our light environment. But this I think is one of the big mistakes of our age. You know, we've kind of replaced comfort for health. And really, we do need to, yes, if you are a busy executive and you can't get to the beach, you can certainly use one of these devices. In the morning, if you can't get on and put your feet on the ground and kind of watch the sunrise, you can certainly stick your head out of the window before you look at your phone. You know, there are little hacks you can do where you can just make very, very small changes to your lifestyle. Don't see an artificial light before you see the real light, for example. Now, sometimes I know that's difficult if you're getting up early, but there are ways around it. You know, if you have a little balcony, just go and stand on the balcony for 2 minutes. The best thing is if you can just, as soon as the sunrise comes up, just put your bare feet on the floor and just kind of stand there. It only needs to be a few minutes. If you're doing meetings on the phone, are they meetings you could do outside walking? I often do walking meetings so that I can be outside. If you're having a meal, could you maybe sit outside and have your lunch rather than kind of sit in a canteen or sit in your desk? So I think there are lots of little hacks people can do to get a little bit more natural light into their lives. Put your computer next to the window, you know. Whereabouts in your room are you sitting? Are you kind of maximizing the light that you have? Have a window open. The good thing about light is it's bouncy. So even if you have a window open, the light is going to be coming in and bouncing around the room, and you're going to be getting a little bit of that light. So yes, we don't all live in these kind of places where we get exposure to light, or we can be outside, but we can all make small changes in our lives to maximize our light environment. And things like this, like you can see, utilizing red light therapy. This, you know, this I can just have a strap and I can wear it. I can tuck it into yoga leggings. This I can just wear as I'm working. So it doesn't have to be something where you have to go to a special room and stand in front of a panel for hours. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be very, very easy. This technology now is so advanced that, you know, you can have quite a powerful device that's just in a tiny little thing like this. So yes, I think we all try to make the excuses, but actually very, very small lifestyle modifications can have a profound effect on our lives. We just need to understand what is the good light and what's the bad light, and making sure that we're, you know, maximizing our exposure to one, and maybe just decreasing a little bit, if we can, our exposure to technologies. You know, don't sit in front of your computer for hours. Have a little break, go and have a little walk. You know, these are all things that are very, very doable and could have a profound effect. Certainly later on, you know, we want to make sure that we're having healthy aging. You know, people talk about longevity, but nobody wants to have a longer life if they're sick. You want to try and maximize those healthy years.
Yeah. Well, the machine, I'm just so enthralled in the day. It was like, wait, what? And I looked, and then we got one, and it was like I was sharing it with everybody. They're like, oh my gosh, wait a second. And
Yes.
most of the time, but what's the story a little bit? You know, I know our time's almost coming, but I'd love to know just, you know, what inspired you to make the red light? Was it from yourself? Was it just from seeing that, or you were just so enthralled with, you know, how the light and everything worked to make that brain and gut and the red light therapy?
Yeah, well, initially I got into light. I was already very much into alternative medicine. So I went through, I worked for pharmaceutical companies. I was fairly orthodox science, and then I was looking at more alternative medicine. And actually, I started in biohacking, and I was looking at structured water. Actually, somebody who had a great influence on me at the start is one of your now fellow countrymen, Dr. Jack Cruz, who spoke a lot initially about light and the brain. And some of the things he was saying were things I hadn't even learned in my neuroscience masters. And it was very, very interesting to me, especially how light has an effect on water. And perhaps that's a topic for another chat with you, because that's also an interesting topic. But I then wanted to see for myself, you know, can we really change what's going on in the brain with light? Because it seemed a little bit far-fetched for me at the time. And so I got myself on a Parkinson's trial, actually, where I was able to do some data collection for a group, Baylor, Scott and White in the States, and Quiet Mind Foundation. And I saw for myself how it was working with that particular patient group. But the device that we were using in the trial was a big, heavy device. And I just thought, no, this needs to be something that everybody can have at home. And it needs to be small and lightweight. And we also need to target the gut. And so really that's what's led me on this journey. I didn't really intend to have a company. Really, I just wanted to make the device. So that was the start of my journey for CeraThrive. Was what really was the turning point for me, was doing the data collection on the Parkinson's trial and seeing for myself the radical difference that these kind of therapies can have. even if no other lifestyle changes happen. Now I know, combined with other things like diet and movement and having purpose and meaning in life and having that kind of self-sovereignty, agency in your life, these also really help that therapy. But even on its own, red light can have a profound effect. So that was my kind of journey there. It was through biohacking and then through kind of actually being involved in a study myself.
Great. And it's easy as far as you drop ship. So if
Yep.
someone's like, okay, I want one, I want to see, they're the biohackers, or that's like they love the newest cutting edge technology. Um, Tell us about that. I mean, you drop ship. It's pretty simple. Some of the countries we're working at right now, like even in El Salvador, we're working to make it easy. Doctors' offices use it. Clinics use it. Talk a little bit about like the different places that have it, but if somebody wants it for themselves.
Yeah, well, for better or for worse, when we started the company, we decided to ship everywhere. So actually, we ship globally, anywhere, anyone where is in the world. So yes, and it's very easy to order online. I see you've got your code going along the bottom here, cerathrive.com/McWellness. So people can go there, even in El Salvador. And I know, Michelle, that you're very graciously helping us in that particular country. But yes, and certainly in the States, we have distribution. So this was something that we decided as a company to do at the start, because really we want to make this technology accessible for everyone, because it's something that anyone can benefit from. Even if you're in a country where you feel like you're getting a lot of sun, people need this kind of concentrated focus light. And because we're able to do the kind of brain modulation, we're able to offer that kind of enhanced effect. So yes, thank you so much for your help and kind of helping us get into El Salvador. But yes, all the other countries, people can just go online. Please make sure they use your particular URL there and your discount code. And we will make sure that people get a unit.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for sticking on even longer because of the technology not
Yeah,
cooperating
the
with us.
gremlins. I'm so sorry, Michelle. I've had such good experiences here in India with the internet. I think perhaps it was the actual signal, but we got there in the end. Thank you for your
We
patience. I
did.
really
We did.
appreciate it.
Longevity is like there's one of as far as showing, as far as longevity, it's and vitality is a great combo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlton, for that. Um, I want to definitely have you back on so we can talk about light with water. We will have
Yes.
that as well. And maybe we won't have a 12-hour difference in time. And or is it 12 and a half? It's that half in India or something like that.
I know there's a half hour in India. I don't know why they do it, but it messes up all the schedules. But yes, hopefully we will be, it'd be nice if we'll be in the same location, but certainly we'll be on a closer time zone soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then when I come to your part of the world, or whatever part of the world, we'll definitely be meeting again. What I would like before we close and everything is one, just to say thank you again. I really appreciate you saying yes to come and bring your area of brilliance in to this space to share with the world, so that they can, be more educated with that red light, but also to see your um, phenomenal, this brilliant, genius invention that you have and this product, so that they can pop it in their suitcase, they can take it wherever they are, so they can be healthier. Do you have anything else you want to share before we close with with the with everyone that's with us, the listeners on right now?
Yeah, I think I would just close by saying, well, thank you so much for talking about light and kind of bringing it into the light. I think, as I said, some of these things are simple. You don't need to have a lot of resources for this. Some of these things that we spoke about are very, very simple. And I would encourage people just to have a little think about their light environment and what they can even do today to optimize that. Yes. And then if anybody has any other questions, I know that people sometimes have very specific questions about wellness goals, that I'm also very accessible and very happy to help people. So Sarah at CeraThrive, or all the socials, CeraThrive, CERA Thrive. And we're the whole team, we're very happy to talk about this. This is kind of our topic, and we're really just about educating people about light and how you can maximize the light in your environment. So thank you for the opportunity to kind of get that message out.
Absolutely. I'm just putting it into the chat right there, Sarah at CeraThrive.com. Or she's got an entire team that supports and makes sure that is happening right there. I think I've got it right. Sarah at CeraThrive.com, right?
That's it. Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you. You're so good at this, Michelle. It's such a joy to be on such a slick show. I'm sorry I messed it up with my internet going in and out. Because
You are no. And the tables are definitely turned. I'm just honored. But us as women and women leaders, it's our responsibility to make a difference in the world. And
thank you.
The world is definitely a better place with you. Well, I want to say thank you. Is there anything else you want to share? I mean, we've got the website, we've got how they can. I've tagged you guys. Can catch whether you're on the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the YouTube. Hopefully, subscribe to the channel, please. And it's also will be on the Instagram and other sites, so that you have where to go, and you've got the link. Anything else, Sarah?
No, I think that's it. I think we covered a lot. Like it's some of these words are kind of mouthful, aren't they? Like photobiomodulation and mitochondria. But it's just for people to not be too intimidated by that, because really we're just talking about something that's very, very natural and very, very simple. Red light is available for everyone, and it's something that our bodies have evolved with. We just need to kind of go back in time a little bit and kind of think about how our bodies have evolved and try and maximize that. We live in these chaotic modern worlds, but there is space for that still. So I really appreciate you kind of bringing these Wellness Wednesdays, such a lovely idea, so that people can just get these little tips, because these are just very simple things that people can integrate into their lives. It doesn't have to be, something that's a big deal and is overwhelming, so I would just encourage people, don't be put off by these, long fancy words. It's just something that scientists do to make things sound important. Actually, light is simple. It's very easy and it's accessible. And so, I thank you for the Wellness Wednesdays, because it's just these little tips where people can incorporate these little things, and just these little small changes of habits can have a massive change, in people's lifestyle. So keep going, just take one little thing from it and keep going, because every time your body gets more healthy, you're able to kind of assimilate more information to make better choices. So
Amen. Well, thank you again, Sarah. Don't leave yet, because we'll connect back in the green room while I close out for everyone. So thank you again, and I am going to bring in, and that way we can just say thank you for tuning in. I know it was a little bit longer, but oh my goodness, did we have a wealth of information, y'all. I'm just honored, and I want to say thank you for tuning in. MacArthur Accommodations is honored to have you. And if you need, I am your master certified health and wellness coach. I offer coaching and consulting. And I just want to wish you all a beautiful, blessed night. Go to immunityforlife.net. If you need anything, reach out to me via YouTube, via whatever social media. If you want some coaching so that I can help you with your lifestyle, your exercise, your attitudes, your nutrition, or if you just want some consulting, hey, let's talk about medical tourism. I'm your gal. So God bless you all. I want to wish you a beautiful, blessed, and prosperous night if you're on this side of the world, or morning if you are on the side of the world that Sarah is. So I am going to close out now, and you guys, see you later. Ciao, Bella.